Thank you very much, for this opportunity. I think that is an introduction about myself. It's not going to look good if I introduce myself, right? Yeah, so just oops, something missing. Fine. So as the head of smart mobility, for Al Naboodah Group, so I have the opportunity of working with the electric vehicle charging technology. So we have been in this market for about 2.5 years now. And over the 2.5 years, we have done some very good projects. I feel it's it's a privilege to be part of that and having the opportunity to do such a project. I'll go through some of them, of course. So I'll just start with the presentation, thanking, of course, the organizers for this opportunity to present this new world of electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Yeah. So start. Okay. So just introduction. I get my bread and butter from the company. So we are a family-owned business with 3 generations of owners actually supporting us. Develop multiple businesses that includes construction. We are into construction and everything. I'm the head of Smart Cities initiative as a whole, where it is a completely new entity within the within the Naboodah family. As smart cities, of course, we are into new technologies like electric vehicles, electric vehicle charging, also into robotics and some other new technologies that are more sustainable and tries to make our life easier. So okay. So with that, of course, the partnerships that we have include companies like ABB and for the electric vehicle charging. They are world leaders in electric vehicle charging technology, and we really partner with them. Then with Geek Plus, we work with the robotics team, and of course other companies coming together because it's a developing ecosystem that we are trying to vision ourselves creating. Yeah. So from the 2 businesses, that is electric vehicle charging technology, and with Geek Plus, I think we have a very good portfolio to call ourselves the future of smart cities, or trying to make the cities the future. Practically, see, my father always used to say, the technology can be smart, the people can be smart. If they don't come together, nobody's smart, right? So that's typically the caption that I would like to take from here, because we are all humans, and human is basically a habituated person. So I'll tell you an example. Okay, so there was there's a large event like this, which was happening in a different part of remote India where I come from. So there used to be a tradition, where during such a session, for the session to be very good, or for the event to be very good, they used to tie a small dog to the to the entrance or something like that. So the reason for that was when the first event used to happen, a dog used to bark, right? And then the owner of the event made sure that he ties the dog so that it doesn't move around and destroy stuff. But after about 100 years of that, people still follow the same tradition. So we are actually in that same phase, where electric, just like how we are all used to or habituated to petrol pumps and petrol vehicles and all. Of course, the transition to electric vehicles is going to be a challenge. But of course, I'll try to make it easy because it's a bit of a technical topic. But of course, we look forward to more technologies coming our way. From an experience point of view, we have done projects with some of the well-known brands in the region. Apart from that, we are also looking to partner with some of the potential partners that you see here. Plus, of course, all the new brands which are now transitioning more into the electric vehicle space as well. Apart from that, when you look at the complete technology as a whole, we actually do partner with, or in fact, please do visit our stall. We have displayed all of them there. With electric vehicle chargers, of course, ABB is there, right, amongst the top companies in the world, electrifying the world. And for marine application, especially for marine application, we are now partnered with a company called Aqua Superpower, which is focused more into providing electric vehicle charging for boats, which are technically said to be a bit more pollutant than the vehicles on the road themselves. But along with that, we are also in the market to create the ecosystem that we're talking about. So we have softwares that are coming up, apps that are coming up that will enable the charging and the transition to be moved from a B2B model to a B2C model to be much more fruitful for the customer. So the customer experience is quite important. And that's why I said, all of us are habituated to a certain way of working. But when you move into a different type of technology, a different type of market altogether, you will need these kind of configurations, hardware, software. They all need to work together, just like how this clicker and myself have to work together, right? So that's typically what we are here to learn. Apart from that, we are also introducing a new company called CUSP, which is into tokenizing the electrification model, which means that if anybody whose intent is to be green, then they actually provide tokens. You buy car charger or electric vehicle chargers, you buy a car, or you charge your car. So each time they provide a certain level of tokens, which at a later stage you can directly go back and buy those kind of technologies as well. So it's typically a completely revolving ecosystem which we're trying to create here. From an EV ecosystem point of view, I think this actually connects all the dots together to make sure that the customer in turn is happy and is convenient enough to transition from a petrol to, an ICE engine to an electric vehicle ecosystem. So that's typically what we do. From there, of course, the partners that we have are ABB, the Aqua Superpower. We are building our own apps, of course, powered by the Numosity model on the back end, and then CUSP. So please do visit our stall. You will see all of them. We have people from most of the companies there to actually support you with any questions or ideas specific to your requirements as well. Coming to our topic in hand. See, electric vehicles, of course, are there. You see a lot of them than you see, you have seen in the last 2 years. But how to choose, how to enable them? So we intend to be the go-to services where, for every requirement, the type of car, the type of vehicle, or the type of charging sessions are different. So we try to explain to them as well. So as a company, that's what we do. You might ask me, who are you to tell me that? So we have done some projects. So that's the reason why we are here. So I've just highlighted some of them. So we have worked, in fact, we have installed chargers across Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and of course in some regions where we are not, we can't show it because those are in progress. Each site, each requirement is unique. So we have learned from all the experiences that we have had with all these type of projects. We have done works with DEWA, we have done work with RTA, we have worked with ADNEC. So we have also worked with providing something as small as a 3 kilowatt small charger, all the way up to a 175 kilowatt ultra fast or fast charger themselves. So ultimately, each evolution of this technology comes through or requires a certain level of understanding. So we'll try to explain that. So as a MENA mobility, of course, we're just trying to, over here I'm just trying to show you the history. Of course, all the other speakers over these 2 years will go through them in more detail, but just as a whole. So this is going to tell you a quick nutshell about how the ecosystem has evolved. See, I've been in this market for about 9 years now, electric vehicles themselves. I've seen it from the Nissan Leafs all the way to the Teslas, and now, in fact, the Audis and the Porsches as well. Now we are also seeing Volvo and others also bringing in buses, trucks, and Android is also doing a completely automated robotic systems as well. So the technology is evolving, the market is evolving, but your needs need not evolve. So each one of these technologies will cater to your needs, of course. But they have gone through certain phases. Please understand that 2 years back, the standards, especially the charging standards that you see in the background, had not been standardized yet. So you will see new cars coming out with new charging standards, cars coming out with new evolutionary technologies all integrated into one. So some of the key, out of this evolution, some of the key turning points, I'll just highlight to them. The first one is, of course, creation of the Charging Alliance. So every technology before that was proprietary to certain brand or certain company. But it is when the CCS or the Combined Charging System Alliance was formed, it moved on to a global open standard, where everyone started adopting. So that's one ecosystem. Then, of course, the second one is the global standardization of the AC chargers. So in typically about, I think 2014 and 2015, that's when all the car manufacturers started adopting the Type 2 socket that you see as standard across all the cars now. Before that, it used to be a bit different. Same thing in the DC charger side. So as of 2020, in fact, a bit before that globally, in the UAE at 2020, the CCS has become the prominent, standard for, electrification in this region as well. But why do we do that? So we do see a steep curve in the adoption of electric vehicles. So it's expected to increase, or it's expected to overshadow the ICE engine vehicles very soon, and we're already seeing it in some of the other countries. And it's really key to adopt that or be ready for that transition. It shouldn't be like the cars are here and you don't have any chargers, or vice versa. You have too many chargers and no cars. So either way, we need to plan. So just giving you some pictures and snapshots of the standards themselves. So CCS Combo 2 is currently, in most of the cars you will see the standard. Just giving you an overview. We will be sharing the presentation after this, right? So this document will reach you, so I'm not going into the details. But of course, unless and until you see the standards, you will not know what is the actual difference between the sockets and these requirements themselves. Yeah. Another key point is the terminology. So I've had cases where customer buys a car, the car says 22 kilowatt, and a 22 kilowatt charger is sold with the car, but he goes home and he charges the car, it doesn't charge more than 7 kilowatt. The reason could be that the cable that is provided with the car could also be of lower capacities. So if the entire ecosystem needs to have a certain power level, so each have to work together. Even let's say so whichever be the point, always it's going to be the lowest of the entire ecosystem that your car is going to charge. So when you buy cars, please make sure that you are planning for your charging system, and accordingly you also ask for what is your onboard charger and your cable that comes with the car as well, because these are primary requirement for you to calculate how far you can travel and how you can how you can plan your activities for the day with an electric car. Yeah. Also, apart from that, there are also technologies, or understanding that you need to know. If you go to the car manufacturers, they're going to tell you about mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, and mode 4 cables. But if you go to the charger manufacturers, they're going to tell you level 1, level 2, and level 3, charging requirements. So depending on who you speak to, it's going to be a bit confusing, but it's quite simple. You consider something like a buggy, where you connect it directly to the power socket and start to charge. You can call that mode 1. Mode 2 is more like an adapter unit, like your laptops, where the power level might be less, but of course it can take up the day-to-day activities like your laptops. Level 2 and mode 3 is actually more of the public charging type. So where you need a smart charger to enable things like authentication, charging sessions. So all those have to be taken up. So each charger has its own capabilities, and the car terminologies are also important. So if you go to a car manufacturer, they're going to talk in modes, but if you go to a charger, they're going to talk in levels. And the easiest part is level 3 or mode 4, which is DC fast charging, where the standards are already set. But the smaller capacities is where you get confused, and each car has its own requirements and so on. Yeah, just giving you an overview on that. Tesla, Tesla is the latest buzzword. Tesla, I'm really fortunate that Tesla is also here, but they have also moved to the CCS, and it's really appreciable by them, because they are the ones who actually made it all happen. And once they move, it's automatically, it means that the world has started adopting these technologies as well. Now, I put this slide because range anxiety is a very important thing, and I really would like you to focus on it, because depending on which vehicle, or which type of vehicle you want, be it at home, who travels from home to office, or be it, let's say, a taxi fleet, where the vehicle keeps running, or could be a truck fleet where the vehicle keeps running, the driver keeps changing. So all these can be possible, or all these type of ride experiences can be changed with electric if you have a combination of AC and DC charging. So please don't limit yourself, thinking that, okay, you travel from here to Abu Dhabi, or from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, that I'm going to stop in between, because already actions are being taken. By the time you buy the car, all the infrastructure is also going to be there. All right. So just giving you a heads up. From there, of course, ABB being a partner, I just have to state them. They are actually leading the industry. I really appreciate what ABB is trying to do, is to create an ecosystem of net zero, and they are really investing into the technology. So some of the, I put both of the technologies over there, and it is really going to help you because they are doing a phenomenal job of providing some of the best technologies in the market, be it trucks, cars, buses, anything. Their charger currently, based on the experience I'm telling you, are currently the best. So, and depending on what type of charger goes where, I mean, I've already told about the different levels, the power levels, but the most important is this. So depending on where you install the charger, please choose the right charger for each of your requirements, because it's going to be different for homes, it's going to be different for malls and your parking lots or your public charging spaces. So ultimately, you need to make sure that this information that I've stated here, is evaluated properly, and then for your requirements, you find the right charger and go buy that. If you don't do that groundwork, you're gonna end up with multiple chargers, with multiple power levels, with multiple sockets, and it's gonna be quite confusing for you to buy the charger, because every charger has its own charging characteristics, and every manufacturer has its own. So please do your groundwork before going there. And with that, of course, the electric vehicle and electric vehicle charging is just the tip of the iceberg, because ultimately, it's a concept, right? So depending on what you do needs to be at a concept level, because if you're at a hotel destination, there's a different set of ecosystems to be planned. If it is in a parking lot like what we have done for ADNEC, a different set of ecosystem can be planned. So ultimately, just like how the petrol pump concept was the key for a lot of other businesses to thrive, electrification or electric vehicle charging is going to be that for the future. So I really appreciate if this is a takeaway that you take when you go when you go home. And I know that most of you are looking at buying electric vehicles. When you buy them, please look at the charging as a key point as well. From the services that MENA Mobility provides, so we try to consult with the e-mobility companies to see which model suits you better. We also provide the chargers themselves, so we are as being the partners of ABB. We also install the chargers. We also are, let's say you want to create an ecosystem. We also provide the charge point management system and the ecosystem for that, because each one has to be independently positioned together to form the complete ecosystem. So I really look forward to it. And as a company specialized into creating electric vehicle charging infrastructure, or everything that comes along with it, we try to provide. That includes the spare parts, that includes the servicing, and so on. And that's typically where we come from, and that's what is needed in the market. What people don't know or might not have read is for the electrification of buses, trucks, the amount of infrastructure is much higher. But of course, we have done the first electric bus pilot project. Hats off to RTA for leading that initiative, and looking out for more. Definitely, it's just a tip of the iceberg. We have just started, and you can see what's happening in different parts of the world, including Netherlands and the other regions. You can also see what's happening in places like Sharjah. BIAC has done a very good project there. Similarly, we have also seen like RTA really looking forward to what the DOT over here is trying to do, and we are really proud, and we should be really proud of being in a country which is actually looking to support this initiative. So in other parts of the world, the private companies lead and then everyone else follows, right? This is a very unique case where the government leads, and then all the private companies do follow. I'm quite happy on that as well. Another example, electricity is prone to such disruptions as well. So same thing is going to happen to your electric vehicles and the charging. If this happens at site when your car is charging, if all the standards that the CCS teams have not been in place, you will have chaos, right, at site, because a lot of the systems have to work together. And please think about that when you are also planning for your trips and planning for your vehicles. So consumer behavior is going to change in the near future, and I expect these kind of understandings to come, because people take electricity for granted. People think, once you have the socket, you get the power. That's not how it works. So ABB has just launched the fastest, they dubbed the fastest charger in the world. It's a 350 kilowatt charger. We are looking forward to bringing it to the region and also supply it to all our esteemed customers and partners, so that these kind of futuristic cities can also be planned. Yeah. this is a very key slide for you because ultimately you need to know how fast can your vehicle charge. So we have tried to give you bus levels, cars or buses and corresponding time taken for charging the vehicle. If you see the lowest vehicle, which is a 400 volt battery vehicle, which is something like might be Hyundai Kona or something, or a Tesla, you can actually charge with a 180 kilowatt, which is there in our stall, within 13 minutes. Of course, it needs to have the capability, but that is the possibility we are nearing to, and it's really hats off to the companies that are working towards it. Yeah. From a boat point of view, so this I'm going to skip a bit faster. We partnered with Aqua Superpower because they are actually creating revolutionary ecosystem in the world. They are trying to electrify all the coastlines, and they're doing a phenomenal job of it in Europe, and they are looking to go global. But one of the reasons what they state is that the number of CO2 that CO2 and pollution that boats are pumping into the into the water stream is actually much higher than what we do in the land-based transportation, of course. So they are trying to actually electrify the boats as well, and try to reduce that emissions. So that really adds on to what they do. Of course, depending on the type of boat, could be a jet ski, could be a multi-billion-dollar yacht. So the type of electrification is different for each one of them, and we actually try to work with them to create that ecosystem for the boats as well. Yeah, just giving you. These are just snapshots of what they've done. So this is an Italian coastline, so they've actually electrified it, some of the coastlines in Italy. We look forward to doing that in the UAE as well. Yeah, from charge point management system point of view, it's just a logic. So every charge point management is different for every application, and of course the basics are the fundamentals or the basics are quite simple and easy. But we look forward to creating that ecosystem, be it from a charger point of view or from a utility point of view. Both sides have to balance each other to make it happen. So the software is definitely going to help that happen as well. Just concluding very fast. So this is the company that we have actually launched at our event. So this is an e-marketplace where they actually champion green technology. So they actually give you tokens to actually list your products on your system, and as you sell them through it, you get tokens, and at a later stage you can buy them back as well. So basically they reward you and award you if you are green and you are looking into green products as well. So we have partnered with them, bringing the complete ecosystem of electric vehicles into one place and try to see how we can elevate our experience of using electric vehicles in the market. Hence, bringing in new models. New models are of course coming in, and depending on what model you choose, and of course the team is already here to actually give you that know-how based on our experiences into electrifying your requirements completely. And from that, thank you very much, and looking forward to the sessions, and looking forward to more interesting discussions. And being the Kickstarter of this session, it's really it's a privilege because having a charging infrastructure slide first really shows how focused the team is regarding electrification of this industry. Thank you very much, and hoping your best. Thank you. Yeah, I'll give it there.